I trust we all know what happened in Aurora, Colorado last night. And no, I'm not making this video to exploit the death and suffering of those people out there. As a matter of fact, I'm ashamed that I never made a video about this subject to this moment in time. I'm not here to make money off of this video. I'm not here to put up a fake thumbnail or a misleading title that says, click to see footage of the dozen people getting shot dead in Aurora, Colorado movie theater. Click and see. Because you know someone is going to be sadistic enough to do that and make a penny off of it. But that little rant aside, because that's not even really what this video is going to be about. This video is just going to be a discussion about people that snap and just flat out kill. People that just don't give a shit about human life and want to take human life with their own hands. Now, what happened in Aurora, Colorado last night was evil, it was sadistic, it's terrible to see, and it's a reality that any of us could face. Any of us could have been in that movie theater last night. But here's the thing. What are we going to do now? What are we going to do now as society? Are we just going to sit there and say, oh, we're not going to take this anymore, we're going to change laws, we're going to point to the laws that weren't there to help protect us from last night? What do we really want to do now? Because I was following a number of people on Twitter talking about this last night. I was even tweeting as this was happening, as details were emerging last night. And I always am fascinated when a tragic event like this happens, how reactionary people are. How people want to go right to that extreme and say, that's it. We can't have guns in this country anymore. That's it. We got to have metal detectors everywhere. That's it. There has to be armed police at all mass gatherings like this. Can we all just step back and take a look at the reality of the situation? All right. The reality of the situation is this. Someone went crazy, didn't give a shit about his life or others' lives, and decided to kill people. Last night wouldn't have been protected by any amount of laws, any amount of laws that the American Constitution could have made. Any amount of protection, any amount of metal detectors, police in the area. If someone wanted to go into a movie theater last night, I'd like for you to tell me, is there a single country in this world where what happened last night couldn't have happened? Is there a single country out there that has armed guards at the entrance and exits of every single movie theater? And if this guy wanted to commit this mass atrocity, he could have committed it at any of many places. If movie theaters were heavily guarded, he would have went to somewhere else. Do we realistically want to sit here and say the problem is guns? The problem is the Second Amendment that gives Americans the right to bear arms. The problem is that, well, we give guns to the wrong people. Folks, if guns didn't exist, if laws prohibited guns in this country, and if this guy wanted to kill, what happened last night would have still happened. And that's the reality we all need to understand. And I know, it sucks. It sucks that this guy was able to get guns and do what he did. But as cliche as that little NRA saying is, guns don't kill people, people kill people, it rings true in so many circumstances. So, what do we want to do now? Do we want to turn this into a police state? Do we want to put metal detectors everywhere? Do we want to go through all the logistics of revamping everything in society? Because a lot of you out there want to do that. That's what you sound like you want to do. But let's realistically think about things here. When someone goes apeshit and they want to kill, they will kill. If all this guy could get a hold of was a knife and he wanted to go into any sort of public mass gathering and just knife people till his arm got tired, and that's how he wanted to go out, then he would have got it done. And he probably could have killed the same amount of people. Who knows? So, it sucks. It really sucks that circumstances like this happen in society. But not everyone is perfect in society, and some people are just way off the charts and just want to start taking other people's lives, and that's all it comes down to. That's it. What laws could we have made to prevent what happened last night? How many guards could we put at every mass gathering that would have stopped what happened last night? I don't know. Like I said, I'm ashamed of myself that I've never made a video about this, never put my 2 cents on the table, because I'm a big believer in the Second Amendment. If that offends you, then I'm sorry. Because whether we like it or not, we live in a society here in America. Of course, anyone who doesn't live in America, and I'm not trying to lump you in here. The American citizens live in a society where we have a right to bear arms. That rule has been in place, or that law has been in place for over 100 years. Over 200 years, to be exact. If we take away guns, the only people that have guns left are the seedy underworld. Now, we could start putting legislation in place that makes possessing a gun really strict and all this other stuff. But let's logistically think about it. What do you think that transition period is going to be like? When just the crooks and criminals have guns? What do you think it's going to be like if we remove an entire economic sector from our production capabilities in this country? A job sector that provides tens of thousands of jobs. A job sector that is very profitable for this country. What happens when all that's removed? What happens when people are more broke and bankrupt because they don't have jobs, and now the seedy underworld has the guns and people are getting mugged left and right? And no one has the ability to protect themselves other than their 2 fists, but 2 fists don't stop bullets. Let's logistically think about things like that before we go off the deep end and start saying, okay, we gotta get rid of guns. Because I'm so tired of that argument. Does it mean I'm right? Nah. But that's my 2 cents. I don't like thinking what we should do. I like thinking about what would happen if we do. And that's a logic I've used in my life for pretty much everything. Anyone can change something. It's what happens afterwards that's really important. So, what are we going to do about Colorado? Are we just going to forget about this a month later? I mean, it's nice to see that police presence at all these movie theaters now, but what happens a month down the road? Do you think towns are going to commission police officers to stay in every single movie theater in the country? What happens when this happens on Black Friday? What happens when someone guns up a Best Buy or a Target or a Walmart that's crammed with shoppers packed in like sardines? What happens then? Do we not have Black Friday anymore? Do we now limit the number of people that can go out to shop? What happens then? Because stuff like that is eventually going to happen. You're eventually going to see someone gun up a shopping mall. That's a realistic thing that we all need to accept, that it's going to happen, and it will happen. All right, that was kind of redundant. That meant the same thing. These videos are long. I do these in one take, people. Anyway. I don't have any absolute answers. I have ideas of the way I think things should be. But like I said, it doesn't make me any more right or wrong than the next guy. But sitting there and just acting like it doesn't exist and acting like other circumstances like this won't happen, like the events of Aurora, Colorado last night, I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, well, this is the last time that's going to happen. True, thank God that's all done with. We'll never see that again. Please. Get out of the fantasy world you live in if you think that's the case. Get out of the fantasy world that you live in if you think any sort of new legislation or laws or police presence or anything like that is going to keep some psycho mass murderer from wanting to do his business. Because when human life goes awry, they will find a way to get an end to their means. That's all I got to say about this, people. Curious to hear what your thoughts are. Anyways, have a great day, and just my thoughts and everything go out to just the horrificness and everything that is going on in Aurora, Colorado right now. And that's kind of sappy to say at the end. It sounds kind of phony. But anytime I see a circumstance, an event like that, it just wrenches my guts. It just disgusts me that humanity sunk to this level again. And going back to that proverbial phrase I said in a number of other videos, I'll understand fully well when that asteroid comes barreling towards Earth. I'll be like, there we go. We deserve it. Till then, have a great day. And everyone, just do what you gotta do to make yourself happy. It's pretty much all we can do in life nowadays. And just don't hurt anyone else along the way. Take care.